Country boy. I get up before the rooster, put on my camo, load up my bow and my rifle and stock the ammo. I'm a bullet with the bullet, but I'm lethal with the arrow. Always down for the hunt, dove turkey and big bucks. Hit the woods and get fitted up. Mossy oak all across my fit, don't be surprised, we do this too. I be up before the sun with my 30 at 6. Hard body on, I ain't worried about the kick. Yeah, we do this too. Country boys, we them country boys.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of We Do This Too Outdoors. I'm your host, Courtney Williamson. I have a super special guest on today. This is one man that I would not want to get into a bar fight with. Bellator MMA's own light heavyweight champion of the world, Mr. Corey Overtime Anderson. How you doing, brother?
I'm going good, Courtney. How about you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Blessed, black, highly favored, brother.
I heard that.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you coming on this podcast, man. I'm a huge fan. I'm kind of having a fanboy moment right now. You and Rampage Jackson are two of my favorite MMA guys, and I'm happy for you to be on here, dude. I'm trying not to fanboy out too bad right now.
I appreciate the love and support. It means a lot.
Yes, sir, man. So how's the off season treating you right now?
I mean, what off season? Really, no off season for fighting or hunting. You know how it goes. I mean,
yeah, I know how
it's just like hunting. Once season's over, you back into the next season because you scout. Same thing go for fighting. Once the fight is over, you right back to the drawing board of the gym, getting ready for the next one. So
that's what's up, man. So when's the next fight?
Well, it was supposed to be in October, but then I got the call a few days ago that they're trying to move me around. So not sure right now. So still training, but put a little bit more time getting not back out in the woods, but getting things finished and set for opening day here in New Jersey. I'm in training camp out here right now. So just trying to get everything lined up where if my fight get pushed back further, I can go ahead and hit the woods for the first few weeks and hopefully get me a few does and tag my butt before I go into camp.
That's what's up, man. So for some of you that don't know, Mr. Overtime here is a huge hunter, and as much as I've been following this man, I had no idea that he hunted. And I got on his Instagram page one day once I started my brand, and started noticing him putting out mineral and shooting his bow, and I'm like, whoa, like this dude's a hunter too, man. I said, I've got to get him on the podcast, man. So how did you get introduced to hunting?
I've been hunting my whole life. My father used to hunt with his grandfather growing up, and then as we were kids, when I was 8, I got my hunter safety card and got my 14 shotgun. And I started off hunting rabbits and coons and stuff with him and Dad. I used to walk the track with him and my older brother, or him and his friends, since I was knee-high to a grasshopper with my BB gun in my hand like I was doing something, running down the beagles, collecting the beagles, moving them up the brush, moving them up and down the train track, running through the field, pushing up rabbits and stuff as well. But it wasn't until I was 16 years old, when I found out that you can hunt with a bow. I had started shooting a bow for 3D target shooting with my dad at like 12, and I was 12 or 13, my freshman year in high school. So I was 12. I guess I got to high school when I was 12. So 12 or 13, however you want to say it. But around then we started shooting bows just at 3D targets, and one of my buddies asked me to practice what I was doing. I told him me and my dad was trying to go shoot our bows, and he's like, "Oh, you getting ready for hunting season? You hunt?" I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I hunt, but you can hunt with a bow? Like, yeah, you didn't know that? And they go get a license. I'll take you out tomorrow. And that was it. I started hunting I was 16 years old when I went after my first deer with a bow, and been doing it ever since.
That's what's up, man. So what state did you grow up in?
I grew up in Illinois.
Illinois, okay. Yeah, I got some big deer up here.
Yeah, I killed my first buck. I was 22, 23. I was coaching in college by the time I killed my first deer, because I was always college wrestler, and wrestling season goes right through hunting season.
Right.
And it wasn't until I graduated college I was able to put time in to get my first one. But I got It's like a 300 and some pound 10 point Illinois on a little small bean field in one of my sponsors' properties, and that's when I really got hooked. So
That's crazy, man. So you've been hunting ever since you was a kid. So yeah, me and you's got very, very similar stories, you know. I started hunting when I was about 5 years old with my dad. He's from a little cotton town outside of Memphis called Somerville, Tennessee. And um, he moved up here, met my mom and stuff, but he started taking me out. All he did was rabbit, pretty much rabbit, quail, and squirrel. He didn't grow up deer hunting because they didn't have any deer down there where he lived, or turkeys or anything else. So I kind of had to teach myself how to deer hunt and everything else. But that man, you know, rest in peace to my dad. I lost him at 14, but that man with a shotgun in his hand was one deadly dude. If you heard that shotgun go off one time, 9 times out of 10, he's got a rabbit.
yeah, they swinging that track. I know we used to hunt tracks. I train tracks a lot. And I was with my dad. When that gun go off, you see him swinging that barrel, you knew the rabbit was done. And you just
Yeah,
gotta wait for
man.
the beagles to come grab him.
Yeah, them something about them older men, man. That older generation, man. You know, they didn't miss too much. You know.
They didn't have all the sights and extra stuff we got now. All they
Yeah,
had was iron sights on everything. So
iron sights on everything, and it was deadly. And my uncle, I go with him now. He's a pastor, and I think he's 75 or 76 years old. Man, he's got a 20 gauge double barrel side by side, and he's had it since he was like 15 years old. And when that thing goes off, you know, you best believe, well, he can't see as good as he used to. But I'm telling you, when that double barrel goes off, you know he's got something. Maybe the second shot get him this time, but if you definitely hear him shoot twice, you know he's got something. Heck yeah, man. So what gave you the passion to stay in the outdoors? I know a lot of people get introduced to the outdoors when they were younger, and once they usually get a little bit older, they kind of lose that passion. So what kept that passion for you?
I mean, I always did it. Like after I moved out there, and I was doing it seldomly here and there. It was like a fun, like kind of like a memory of me and my dad and my brother. Something we did. It was always good just to get out. Like I did a lot of fishing when I moved out. That's what I was really big into fishing. I would hunt here and there, go home and hunt only in Illinois. But it really kicked in. It was like after one of my fights, 2017, I got head kick knocked out of MSG. It was my second knockout in a row. Kind of like a crossroads in my career, losing two in a row, thinking like, do I not got it anymore? Should I retire? What should I do? And my escape at the time was just training. All I did was train. That's how I got the name Overtime. Because I was always in the gym. And I never get the next day. I went to the gym, and the professor, which we call jiu-jitsu coach, was in the door like, no, you can't come in here. Like, why? Like, brother, you've been knocked out twice. You need to take time off in the gym. Called my striking coach like, nah, I'm not working with you. You need to take time off. And everybody kept saying, nope, you're not allowed in the gym. And then my jiu-jitsu professor called me back and said, brother, I don't want you back in the gym until 2018, like so next year. I want you to take the rest of the year off and just relax. I remember coming home and telling my wife this, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't know, I'm gonna go crazy. And so my wife, what some most people don't know, but my wife is a DeQuisto, who's Long Wolf Custom Gear. And she was like, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't know. It's like, well, don't you like hunting? Like, didn't like on our first date, you had to get up super early in the morning because you had to go track a deer you shot. I was like, yeah, I did. She's like, why don't you go hunt? Like, you haven't really hunted much since we've been together. At the time, we were just dating. She's like, go hunt. Go to Dick's and get the stuff you need and go hunt in the morning. Like, all right, I go do that. So I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, got a little cheap climber. Matthews had just sent me a new bow, like a couple months ago on a VIP program because I was a professional athlete and whatnot. I went and got a ghillie suit, a tree stand, got my license, and I think I got a grunt call. You know, and I hadn't done it in so long, like hunting for real. I have stands. I had a set stand. I had never really got into mobile hunting. I was always a set stand. So I go out behind my house, it's public land out here in New Jersey, behind my house. I remember going out there. I get up there at dark, and first light, you see one deer walk out in the pass, and you see the squirrels and all the birds chirping, and just listen to nature. And like to me, it seemed like it was like 5, 10 minutes. And my phone goes off, and it's my wife, and it's like 9:30 in the morning. She said, "How's it going?" And like, it's going good. She's like, yeah, how's your head? Like, what you thinking about? And I was talking about everything out there, like in nature. And she's like, what about the fight? You thinking about that anymore? I thought about like, oh snap. I've been out here. I got here at like 5:30 in the morning. It's now 9:30. I've been in the tree for 5 hours. And it seemed like time just flew. And I didn't think about that fight at all. I didn't even think about my career. I forgot I was a fighter for that 5 hours. Like I just completely forgot about everything. I just realized. And before I texted her back, I just looked around. I thought like this is my piece. Like this is what I've been missing. This is what I've been training my butt off nonstop since I left home at 17. Here I am, what was it, 25, 26, whatever it is. It's like I've never really slowed down to really see what's around me. I was always in the gym. And this is my escape. And after that, I got up every morning, every night. I was going to the woods behind the house every day, constantly. I would come home at 10, take a nap or eat, whatever, chill, go back at 2 until dark and come back. And I finally got the first doe here, and I was really hooked again. Then got another doe, and I had some other deer, big deer come. I was after trying to get this big buck in the chase. And I remember season ended like February 8th or something. I finally went back to the gym. And even the coach, I was like, "Where's your mind? How you feel?" I was like, "I'm fine. Like I'm ready to go back to the woods." To be honest, he was like, "What about your head? Like the knockout? You feeling okay? Your concussion? You've been cleared? You feel lightheaded? Like I'm good. Like I'm ready to train, but I really want to go back to the woods." Like, so you're fine. Like I'm great. And like literally after that practice, I went back to the woods just to walk around, and that's just ever since then I've been nonstop, die hard in the woods. And even now, if I sit in the house too long, or not like I'm making my kids like it's a problem, but when I'm hanging out with the kids all day and training the kids and the wife and doing stuff around the house, if I don't get to the woods just for a split second, it's time I start getting antsy. My wife says, she's like, go get on your e-bike and go in the woods real quick, which means like you being real uptight right now. And I go and come back. So how's your mood? I'm good now. That's all you need. Just need to get outside. Have to. People need therapy. Some people smoke weed, play video games. I don't do drugs. I don't leaving talking to nobody about my feelings. Just let me go to the woods and just if I sit in a tree or just ride my bike down the trail and jump a doe or see some scat or some trails or some rubs, just put a game plan together. I just need to be there for 7 minutes. That's it. Give me 7 minutes max. Put a full game plan together. Pull my Spartan forage off. Put some pins down. I can go back. I'm good. After that, I'm reset. And ever since 2017, I realized this is it. Like I'm just gonna be in the woods all day as much as I can.
Yeah, that's what's
I'm
up,
just
man.
addicted.
That's what's up. I love it. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. So like my wife's always telling me, if I start getting a little bit uptight or something, go to the woods. But I'm an ex-athlete, myself. I played baseball, basketball growing up, and once I stopped playing, I started playing a little slow pitch, travel, softball, stuff like that. But I lost my grandfather and my favorite uncle within like 2 months of each other when I was in college, man. And it was real tough on me, and I didn't get to hunt as much as I wanted to then because I was trying to get my degree and everything. And I was in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I went to Western Kentucky. It was just hard for me to get home, because of class and everything. So I picked up, I started drinking a lot. And I came home one day and my dad was like, look, this drinking thing, it's going to take you down a real wrong road that you don't want to go down. It's like you've got to find something else, to put your time in and find peace. And he said, man, you've always loved hunting with me. He said that you need to get back into it. And I said, all right, Pop. So I had a buddy named Clay Kirby, and I used to go to the gym with him and stuff. He kind of got me out of that rut. He taught me how to shoot a bow in the backyard of his house. This was about, I think, 2006, 2007, somewhere around in there maybe. And he got me out of that depression that I was in. And ever since then, I've always loved the outdoors, but that made it that much realer, and I went out there and I just sit and in my ground blind because I hate tree stands because I'm scared of heights. So I'll just sit in my ground blind, man, and me and God will just have a long conversation. That's where I find my peace. And some people think I'm crazy when I say that, but most hunters and outdoorsmen, they'll tell you like that's where that's where their peace is found. So I definitely get that, man, for
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, ain't nothing more peaceful than being out in the middle of nowhere by yourself. Like
Yeah,
nothing but the animals and the crickets and birds and the rain or the snow or whatever it is. Even if no matter how bad the weather is, it's still you can find peace in it. You can find a way to be safe out there in that weather. You can find peace.
that's right, man. That's for sure. So from all your Instagram stuff, man, I see that you're a big bow guy.
Mhm.
Do you like archery better than rifles, or would you rather take a rifle in the woods or your bow? Which one?
I'm all about the bow, man. I rarely ever do rifle. I just did a black bear hunt. What was it? About a month and a half ago in Idaho. And maybe they was like, "Yo, it'd be you have much better success with a rifle. We can get further away." But that bow got super close. Like, we got a rifle if you want. Like, nope. I did the whole week with the bow in hand. Even the last day, like, you sure? Like, nope. Going with the bow. Like, that's it. I already killed one with the rifle. I only want my bow. I really do rifle if I'm like doing a veteran hunt. I do this veteran hunts and with this company foundation called Intrepid Care in San Antonio, Texas. Most of those guys use rifles, so I do a rifle. I got a few rifles just for that. Other than that, I want to do everything with the bow if I can. Everything.
Yeah,
I actually just talked to a guy before I got on here, trying to go out to Colorado again and get my first elk. He said, "How you trying to do it?" Like, bow, archery, man. That's it. I want my
yeah,
bow. That's
I
it.
heard
It's
that.
more of an art to it.
Yeah, well, I think I know the answer to this because I'm an archer myself. I used to be a big rifle guy, but the more that I started shooting my bow, went to a couple total archery challenges, started shooting a little 3D competition. Man, I started really honing in on my skills, and you know, I became what I think is an archer. You know, I'm not just a guy that shoots a bow. You know, and because there is a difference, I feel like, but I think I know the answer that you're about to say, but what drew you to archery over the rifle? Break it down for me.
I mean, it's just for me. I can. So it was really when I started fighting and shooting or fighting and hunting is when I really became all about the bow. Growing up, it would have been either or. I'm sure I can kill with first, but once I got into the fighting aspect, it kind of is similar. You know what I mean? One, you can't fight without practice. Same with the bow. I can grab a rifle right out of the case after 6, 7 years not shooting, put it on my shoulder and get that scope on. I'm putting bullseye. Bing, bing, pull the trigger. Saying, don't pull, don't jerk it, just squeeze through, pull through, pull. As for the bow, if you don't shoot for like a year, you pull it out the first time, it's like rusty. So you got to practice. That's one. Two, when I'm sitting and I'm at full draw, you got to think. You got to find your anchor. All right, nose to the string. All right, you get close. I shoot with both eyes open, but you got to focus out of your dominant eye. Find that peep, line the pin up, line the pin up. All right, now look through the pin. Don't worry about, or look at the target. Don't worry about the pin. Focus, focus, focus. Now pull it through, pull it through. It's more like art after fighting. It's the same thing. I'm in there moving. I'm bouncing. I got my hands up. All right, I keep my hands up. This is my anchor. Keep my hands up. Hands tight. One's gone, one at home. Now, same thing when I'm looking. It's like I punch through. I don't punch through. You see him, but you want to punch through him, just like that pin. You see the pin, but look through the pin. Look at the target. All right, now pull through. Same thing. I'm looking through him. Look through. Look through. All right, now punch through. Boom, gonna hit, get back. Same thing. It's like just kind of like that fact of archery hunting. You usually get the shot within 20 to 30 yards, but those deer can see you from out to like 100 and something yards. So you got to be really, really still and very, very still with your movements. Same thing in fighting. It's like it only take a quick shot. So you got to be really, really stealth and really, really on point. There's no room for mistakes. That one mistake, that bow make a creak, or you move too fast and that buck see you, he's gone. Same thing with fighting. You make one little mistake. I drop my hand this much and open up my left hook. Boom, lights out. I drop my hand from blocking a head kick from here to here. The kick hits you, it's over. It's like everything has to be on point, very minimal room for error. Same thing for fighting and hunting with the bow. With that archery, with the shooting that bow, you gotta have that proper form. One wrong sway left or right to make that arrow miss from it'd be this close of a minor, like from the vitals, you still hit lungs, or you move too much and you hit all the way at the ass, or you completely missed over the top, or he ducks the
Mm-hmm.
string. There's just so much that little critical, important piece that you need to make such a big difference in your hunt. Same thing for fighting. That
Yeah.
little spot that you that one thing you failed to practice, or that one thing you failed to keep tight, or failed to do that you worked on forever and ever. You missed it that one time. You just lost the title fight. You just lost the belt. You just lost whatever it is. It said, don't take much for error. It's the same thing for both, for archery. It don't take much. It's the little details, but that's the most important details. And me being I like to say I'm a perfectionist, but I'm kind of like, I just want to do everything over and over and over. And so I can't get it wrong because you're never going to always get it completely right. And the same thing with shooting your bow. You just do it over and over and over and over and over. Then when you get in the tree stand, you don't think about it. It's muscle memory. That deer come out, you pull your draw back, and you don't have to think no more. You didn't punch the trigger. You held still. You were stable the whole time, pushing through the bow. You pulled through the wall. So all of a sudden, you see blood everywhere, and you realize, oh my God, I'm the adrenaline. It's just same thing with fight. You do everything right. You land that one shot, you knock a guy out, and before you know it, you up on the cage, you screaming, you hollering, you cussing, you throwing drag, you celebrating, and then you get your hand raised. And just like hunting, the hunt is over, and then you're ready for the next one. It goes hand in hand with the bow. That's for with the rifle. If I shoot on with the rifle, it's like it's fun, but it's not that exciting. It didn't take no effort. It didn't take any work, no stealth. I could shoot him for 300, 400 yards away. He never even knew I was there.
Right.
That's no fun.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that you say that, man, because it's something about that stick and that string, man. When that arrow leaves your bow and that flight to get to whatever you're shooting, whether it's a 3D animal, whether it's a real animal, a target. I've said this before, but it's poetry. It's poetry in motion. And like I said, I used to be a big rifle hunter. And I've killed, I can't tell you how many deer with a rifle, but duck or doe, bucks, whatever. But that first deer that I killed with a bow, she was at 25 yards. And the feeling that I had with that kill trumped all the kills that I had with that rifle because she was so close and everything went perfect. At the time, I didn't really know anything about the pull through. I was a finger puncher, so
Mm-hmm.
but everything went right. My pin was right on her, double under, pulled through, boom. There she's gone. She ran about 40 yards and I found her and I laid hands on her. I was like, oh my God. I said, this feeling is fantastic. And since then, I always try to get, my buck before the Orange Army, as we call it here in Kentucky, comes, that second week of November, because it seems like I can't tell you how many buddies of mine, man, like, hey man, you ready for deer season? I said, dude, I've been hunting since September. Y'all are just now pulling your rifles out of the case. I don't need to shoot my rifle. It was on last year. I don't need to touch it. And then they end up missing the deer because that slight bump that they might have had when they put it in the safe, it might have thrown the scope off a little bit. You take a year off with a bow and try to go out there and hunt, good luck to you. That's all I'm gonna say.
The string stretch, the pin,
Oh my
always like
God.
somehow it move. Like how's everything so far off? Like I got multiple bows, so I shoot year round. Like I got bows here in my house in New Jersey. I got bows in my house in Indiana. So there'll be one bow I haven't shot in a while. I just pull it. Let me just see if it's shooting. It's like completely off. Like this bow, it's just been hanging. It ain't did that. Like how's it
Right.
so far off? But so much change. Your anchor changes. The
Mm-hmm.
way you draw back changes. The way you release instead of I used to maybe pull and release to my right. Now I'm pulling straight back and slapping my thumb off my shoulder. It's like what the? You got to redo everything. So you really can't take a year off. You can't even really take 6 months off and then expect to pick it up and go hunt right away because so much can change in that 6 months.
So much can change, man. It's crazy. I had a hunt one time. I had been shooting my bow. Everything was going good. I had a nice 8-point come out in front of me. probably 30 yards, man. It's cold outside. It's snowing. Beautiful, beautiful morning, man. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'll pull back. My peep has completely twisted and can't see, I can't see out of my peep. And I was like, well, I'm going to take the shot anyway. I said, no, I'm not. I said, because I'm not going to take the chance of wounding this deer if I do hit it. And I said, I can't see through my peep, so I can't see my sight. I said, I just let down and I just watched him walk off. And the next door neighbor, his son, who was 16 at the time, it was his first time bow hunting. He ended up harvesting that deer about 2 hours later. And I mean, I couldn't have been more proud of him, his first deer. But, like you said, those little minor things that go hand in hand with archery, it can happen, man. And it will happen if you're out there long enough.
And that's another, like you said, the peep twisting. And about that happens. People who shoot their bow all the time, they peep just happen to twist when it sits too long and they start rotating. So my biggest thing now is when I get into the tree, first thing I do, once I get everything set up, I always draw back.
Yeah.
Make sure no noise is gonna happen and my peep is in line. I don't have to do no twisting. And then I set it. Because I've actually had a buddy who's lights out shooter. Like we went and did 3D total archery challenge with Deadly, and we did the Bigfoot. He was out shooting Deadly on the target. Like he is that good. He missed out on the biggest buck of his life because he had his bow in his lap. He didn't draw back, and I don't know how it was. Not only was the peep twisted, but the D loop ended up wrapping around the string, and he had his arrow in between. So when he went to draw back, it wasn't completely going back. Like the arrow was twisted, like pulling against the rest. His peep was twisted. He's like, I had to let down to redo everything, but he didn't even pay no attention to it. It was just he climbed up and just hooked everything up and sat everything down. Didn't even think to check to make sure everything was in line. And his monster buck came. He said, "Bro, that buck up and after it just came out, and you would never believe what happened." He came to my house after, like, bro, everything was twisted. My D loop was all twisted around there. My peep was completely twisted. Cause I got pooped back, and I thought about shooting. Like, ain't no way I'm gonna hit anything. The arrow was pulling to the arrow. That's why you always, before I set everything down and just say I'm gonna wait, I make sure everything is set. I got my rangefinder in the right pouch. I got my quiver over here, the camera in the right spot where it's not gonna get in the way. Everything is set. So there should be no reason why this deer come out. There's a reason I didn't get the shot.
Right.
Just so happened I've been lucky enough that I've never had any issues doing that.
That's what's up. So what kind of bow do you shoot?
So at the moment I'm shooting a PSC. I actually had a conversation today with Bowtech, or one of the Bowtech reps. So I may be switching over to them, not sure. But I've been shooting PSC for about 6 years, 5-6 years now. I mean, I like them, but things happen. You know how the industry works. Sponsors move on, you move on, and we at that crossroad.
I hear you. What are you shooting, the Evolve, or you got an older one?
Yeah. So they custom built me the Evolve 33 because it only goes out to 31 inches, and my draw is 32 and a half. So
Really?
they custom made the one that fit me. So yeah.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought your draw was that long. I'm a 30 and a half. So how tall are you?
I got 6'3".
Yes, you right there with me, man. I'm sitting about 6'2" and a half. So
yeah, my reach is abnormally long. I got like 79 and a half to 80-inch reach. So
man, that's crazy. Yeah, so I guess when you do hit that jab on somebody, you got a long reach.
Yeah, so I got a lot of distance between me and the punch.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So, so is deer hunting? Is that like your thing, or do you hunt pretty much anything, whatever's in season? Like, what's your favorite?
I mean, I hunt anything that's in season. Like anything I can get a tag over the counter tag for. But my thing is whitetail. I love it. I love it. You hear the leaves crunching and you see them creeping through the brush, and they think they just think they being stealth and unseen. Before you know it, it's a wrap. They didn't even know you was. I just love it. I mean, you get the same thing with other animals, but just that whitetail is just so much so much more fascinating for me. It's just their senses, the Probably just because I see them more, so I'm more fascinated. But everything I shoot with a bow, I get excited and obsess over for that moment. But whitetail is on my mind all the time.
That's what's up. So I was having this conversation with a guy today at work, and he's a big whitetail hunter as well. And we were having a conversation about deer and everything that he takes in the woods with him. He tries to pack as light as possible. What are some of the necessities that you have to have when you're in the woods? Like what do you have to have in your backpack that you feel that you have to have for a successful hunt?
My bow, my arrows, my release, my camera arm, and my camera. I'm a minimalist. I have a fanny pack just for my camera arm and my camera. Everything else is in my pocket or on my bow. You know, I might have my phone and yeah, and my mics. Like I'm one of those guys. I don't take water. I don't take no snacks. I don't take nothing. Let's go. Get everything I can in my hands. Got my fanny pack on. Put my saddle over the top, and I'm in.
You
I'm in
go.
up in the tree. I'm up and set up within like 7-8 minutes, ready to go.
That's what's up. Yeah, I'm total opposite. My backpack's full. I got snacks, I got water, toilet paper, dude wipes. I got it all. But I'm also in a ground blind. You know, most guys that I talk to, and my buddies, they're all either saddle hunters or tree stand hunters. You know, you can't take that much of the tree with you. In a blind, excuse me, you can take whatever you want to in there with you. But yeah, we was
You
just
know, I sit in
having
the
this
blind. I
conversation.
don't have anything. I have my camera and the tripod. That's it.
You don't take no water or nothing, man. You just stick it out for that long, huh?
That's it. Only time I bring stuff is if my son goes with me.
Oh
That's it.
yeah.
I have like him a paper sack snack in the backpack or the phone mount just in case he get restless to put the phone on so he don't make noise or his water bottle. But other than that, I don't take water. I don't take snacks. I can sit all day. Sit well. If I'm sitting for I'll sit to like 11, 10:30, 11. Then I go back for a second and then come back out around 12:31 and sit the rest of the day. But yeah, I have like a pocket full of napkins from my glove boxes because I gotta go take a dump. I climb down quick and go wipe with that. Make sure I grab it on my way out the woods, wrap it up with if I got like the gloves, the mitt gloves, I always like rip the mitten part off and just pick it up with that and had to go buy a new pair of gloves. But yeah.
Hey, you
Or
gotta
a
do what
sock.
you gotta do, dog.
Gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah, man. So your whitetails are your thing. So do you got any like memorable like hunting experiences that you want to share? Like that one hunting experience that you just can't get out of your mind that you're always telling stories about anytime that somebody starts talking about hunting. You know, I got a story that I always tell. So I figured I'd
I
ask you,
mean,
man.
gonna be my first hunt, my first buck, and then the one I killed last year. Well, the biggest one I killed last year. And so my first successful hunt with the buck was again I was out. It was raining. It was after practice one day. It was raining, and I had all my stuff with me in the gym back home visiting my dad. Like my parents, like I'm gonna go hunting after practice. So I went, and it was raining, and I don't have rain gear. I got this big old overall suit, but it's supposed to be weather resistant, not waterproof. And it's just like I'm just in the rain. I remember having my little Elmer Fudd hat on, everything all snapped up under. It's cold. It's like December, I believe. December, November. So it's cold and rainy. And it wasn't even complete last light yet. It started to get dark. And I'm like, well, ain't nothing happening. I'm finna get down. So I grabbed my bow, let my bow down. And as soon as I go to get on the ladder, I hear I got one foot on the ladder and one foot on the tree. I'm one hand on the tree. I'm looking like, what the hell? And you just hear it getting louder and louder. And I look around the tree and there's this big old buck running straight towards the bean field. I'm right on the corner. I'm right in the corner for he running right towards the opening where I'm at. And I already got my bow on the ground. I look at my bow. I look at him. I look at the tree. I feel like I'm getting here. So I get up. I pull my bow as fast as I can. He says, he's getting close. I get it. Take the hook off the cam. I get arrow notch. I get my release out. I get on. He's walk out into the field. And the field entrance probably like 30, 35 yards. He steps into the field and he stops. And he turns a little bit like quarter towards me, or he's quartering away from me, or quartering towards me, but he still was facing away from me, walking into the field and he stopped. And there's like a little opening in these branches, like a little Y with the branches hovering right over him. His head was covered, his butt was covered, but his vitals was wide open in this branch. And I'm thinking like I can let him get to this complete open or shoot him now just in case he turn. I just drew back and let it go right through the little opening and just he took off. And I don't know where I hit. I didn't know anything because I hadn't been shooting as much, but I knew I hit it. And I remember calling my dad. I shot a buck there. I shot the buck. I shot a buck there. I shot a buck. I shot a buck. He was like, get down the track. I'm like, all right. All I had was a flashlight. I didn't have any gloves. I don't know about tracking blood. I didn't know anything. I jumped down. I run to where the arrow was. It's again starting to get light. I don't know nothing about finding blood. I'm looking. And I remember where he went, and I just shoot through the woods. It's like a bean field, then the other little pinch of woods, a strip of woods, and another cornfield on the other side. I run through the field. And I'm calling my dad on my way through. Like, Dad, I don't know where I can't see blood. It's getting dark. And you better find the boy before it get too dark if you don't know where the hit site is. And I run through the trees like I'm trying. And as I buzz out the tree, he's sitting right there, piled up in the corner. I'm just dropping to my knees like, oh, I got him, Dad. I got him. I got him. And the guy, I'll come out there. I'll come meet you with the truck. I'll bring the flatbed out. So he comes out there. And when he comes, like he's probably, where he parked is probably 150, 200 yards from where we are. And I'm trying to drag it across the field. I'm dragging across the field. There's a muddy cornfield. I'm dragging through all the rain. And I get back to the truck like, boy, what are you doing? Like, you told me to meet you at the truck. He was like, yeah, you didn't gut him? Like, what do you mean gut him? He was like, you're supposed to gut him before you drag him. Again, it's like a 300-something pound tempo. I'm dragging through mud, slipping and falling. My back covered in mud. Got him failed probably 10 times. And he was like, you ain't even got a knife, do you? You probably ain't got no cleaning gloves or anything. Do you even got a tag? I got my tag. Like, here's my knife. Here's some gloves. Go gut him. Drag him back over there to the field, right on the tree line. Gut him and dump the guts in the woods, and bring them back. And I remember that. I just never forget. Like, that was my first year. I remember the property owner coming out and was videoing me doing all this. Like, man, this is awesome. I never seen anybody kill a buck on the property. He's just a city guy that bought the house out in the middle of nowhere. The only person he let hunt. So he said, I've never seen it get killed before. Just that whole memory was that's just something that sticks in my head. My first year, I didn't really know what I was doing. I knew how to shoot my bow, but I have been doing it since 16. Didn't kill one until 7 years later. And like my first time actually experiencing tracking, gut, and all that. But 7 years after I started hunting, and it was just like a lot was learned on that first hunt, because like I was thinking as we were talking earlier, when you shoot a lot, it's like now to the point where I shoot, I know if it's last light, first light, I know where that shot hit. Like I've shot my bow so much, I can tell if it's a good shot, smoke, that deer's dead. How you know it's like that deer's dead? He's not gonna be 20, 30 yards. I know exactly where I aimed. I know where I put that arrow. He didn't move, he didn't duck, he didn't jump the string. He sat there to arrow. I know he's gonna be dead in like 20, 30 yards. I can call it out pretty much every time now. But at that point, it's like I had no clue. I didn't know what happened. I just knew that arrow hit the deer. Didn't know how far it went. Didn't know where it was going. Didn't know how long it takes one to die after hit with an arrow. I just pointed, pulled through, and just happened to smoke him in the heart, and he only went about 45 yards to the other trees. But yeah, that's just a memory like I keep with me now. Especially, I get a lot of people like the person that actually owned this house I rent here in New Jersey. He came up the other day and asked me if I could help him get in bow hunting. He got a bow and everything the other day. And like all the time I'm thinking, like, what are the things I need to tell him? Like, don't dry fire your bow if you don't have arrows yet. Teaching him all stuff you need to know. You gotta have the right arrows, gotta have the right release, Your bow got to be set perfect, certain length to you. It's not like you can just shoot anybody's bow. Then you want me to teach them how to hunt. So I'm always thinking, what were the things I didn't know on my first hunt? So I didn't even know how to use a climber my first time. And I show them how to do that. How to hang a mobile set if you want to do sticks and just stand. It's like that first hunt put a lot of things into my head that I can keep in perspective because now I teach a lot of people how to hunt, especially here in Jersey. There's a lot of these city guys I train with and I know that never would have thought hunting was something they would get into. But they see how obsessed I am with it. And I've already had like Frankie Edgar, UFC Hall of Famer, taught him how to shoot a bow. He's like us lights out with a bow now. Roger Matthews, he wanted to get it, or he grew up hunting, but never really got into the bow. He wanted to do it with me. He's from the Jersey Shore. All these different guys out here in Jersey I put on to hunting and I want to take them out and kind of be like a mentor for them. And that first hunt for me, it puts a replay on my head to every time I think about taking another person to the woods or teach another person how to shoot. That kind of engraved things that I didn't know, which helps me make the list of what I need to tell these guys they first hunt so they don't make that mistake I made. And that one not only was it one of my biggest deer, probably my biggest deer until last year, it was just a memorable hunt. The fact that I was able to show my first buck to my father, I got on one of my first sponsors' properties. I mean, there's a lot to go into it. That hunt really sticks out.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a fantastic story. That's awesome that you got to share that experience with your pops, man. My most memorable hunting experience happened about 3 years ago. My best friend, I finally got him into hunting. He's a huge bow guy. Shout out to Holden, and hell of a shooter, man. He shoots a lot of 3D archery. Here in Kentucky, I think right now in the known 40, he's ranked I think 4th or 5th in the entire state. I mean, he's a hell of a shooter, but he was hunting his granddad's property, which is about 45 minutes from my house. And I was hunting that morning, and I didn't get anything. He called me. He's like, "Hey, man, I just arrowed one." And, it was his first deer. And so I packed up my stuff, went down there and helped him track it. He got hands on it. He got pretty emotional. We both did. That was his first deer. I was super proud of him. Was taking pictures. Showing him how to gut the deer. We took it to the processor and everything like that. I showed him how to do all that, cape it and everything. And his first deer, he wanted to mount it. So we took all the guts and everything that was left over, put in a cooler. We took it back out to my farm that I grew up on for pretty much coyote bait. So we dump it out, and it's rifle season. So I've got my handy dandy 308 in my truck. And I said, "Well, man," I said, and he had his girlfriend with him. It's his wife now, and it's her first time ever being in the woods. I said, "Man, let's go sit in my deer stand for a little bit since we only got about an hour left of light." And he's like, "That's cool, man." He's like, "You help me do all that today. I don't mind sitting with you." So it's 3 of us in this little bitty, ground blind that me and my uncle made together, a little bitty makeshift. She's sitting in the middle. I'm sitting on the left side. He's sitting on the right side. Well, Teresa, his girlfriend, ends up dropping her phone. So it's made all this loud noise. And I'm just like, yeah, we're not going to see anything. So I'm sitting out here looking out the left side of the window. He's looking at the right. And all of a sudden, he just starts shaking. He's like, "Bro, big buck." I was like, "Yeah, whatever, dude." He's like, "No, seriously, big buck." And I was like, kind of lean forward, and there he is. He's the one right there at the bottom right there. If you can see that.
All right, that's a good one.
Yeah. And so he steps out, and I just see goalposts. So I'm like, "Holden, open the window." He's like, "No," he's looking at me. He's going to run. I said, "Holden, if you don't open this window, I'm going to shoot through this window." And I've got my suppressor on my rifle or whatever. So Teresa's like, "What do I do?" I said, "You sit there, just stay calm. Holden, open the window." So he slowly opens the window. It's creaking. And that deer's just still standing there. So I set it right on him. pull the trigger, boom. He takes off running. And I'm like, I missed him. I know I missed him. I said, I was shaking. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting here just flustered. She's like, what's going on? Why are you shaking so bad? He's like, Courtney has really bad buck fever. Like you just don't understand. So I immediately get out and I'm tracking this deer. And there's a cornfield right there. And it's almost dark at this point. So I got my flashlights out, spotlights and everything. I can't find this deer. Like we're searching. I can't find this deer at all. So I'm like, I know I missed this deer. I know I missed it. Well, Holden's like, he's a big tech guy. He said, let me go to my truck, get my drone. I know you hate drones, but let me go get my drone. He said, I'll find it. So, man, you ain't going to find no deer with this drone, man. It's like, man, you think you're a freaking Inspector Gadget or somebody with this. I'm, kind of down, missing the deer. I'm like, oh. Well, I'm sitting back in the blind, sitting there praying. I'm just like, Lord, if you let me find this deer. I said, that was probably the biggest deer I've ever, shot at in my life. And I was like, I really want to harvest this deer. I said, but if I didn't, thank you for letting me be out here in your creation, but I really want this deer. So all of a sudden he gets his drone out and he's flying it. And all of a sudden he stops and I hear him start to yell back at the truck, him and Teresa. He's like, see, I found him. Go to the drone. And I'm like, go to the drone. And the drone is probably about 40 to 50 yards from where I am. And I'm hauling ass to get over there. And I'll walk up on him. And he's got this video. I'll have to send it to you. It's pretty awesome. But I'm walking up on this deer. And he's got the drone footage of me walking up on this deer. And what had happened is he fell over with the white part of his belly sticking towards the other way where I couldn't see it. So he was blending in with those corn stalks. And because the corn had been cut, and I walk up to that deer and I grab him, and you just see me on the video camera just look up, and I'm just like Rocky. I was like, yes, I got it. And so he brings the truck over there, and I'm just sitting there just emotional. We take pictures. We're high-fiving because we both killed deer that day. And his now wife, Teresa, she's like, I've never seen so much blood in one day in my life. She's like, this is going to scar me. And she hadn't been back in the woods since. But that was probably one of my most memorable hunts, if not the most, because I got to share it with, my best friend was there. So I know what you mean by those hunting, those memorable ones, man. That was a good one.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one. I mean, yeah. Were you talking about him being in the blind, something to open up the blind? That reminded me of one hunt I had with my best friend here in Jersey, his older brother. And I'm probably about as close to his brother as I am with him. He don't hunt, but his older brother does. I mean, his brother get along really well. So I took him out to one of my little old favorite spots. Like, let's go try to double up on one today. Like, all right, we can try. So he went out. It was Sunday. I remember him watching the Miami Dolphins in the blind. He got his phone set up on the blind. And I shoot my door early. And now we gotta wait for you. So we're sitting there hanging, nothing's coming. He's like, again, he's in the left blind. I'm in the right blind in the little corner. I'm looking around. I'm getting ready to close. Like, all right, I'm about to start closing the blind. It's getting dark. Like, all right. So I close this window, and I'm leaving this long one open. I close the middle one up, and I reach down and grab the flat. And all of a sudden, I hear him whisper, "Don't move." Like, what? Like, it's a big old buck. Right out of the window. Big old buck. Don't move. And I'm thinking he's just saying, don't move, because I'm going to scare him. I know we're also not here. Swat! Like, what the fuck? He shot his buffalo right over my head. He hit the deer right in his neck. It was like sticking in the brush. It didn't come out. But he had his head out of the brush, hit him right in the jugular and dropped him. Like, I got him. Like, bro, what? You could have told me you was going to shoot. Like, I told you don't move. But we doubled up. I remember getting our pictures. And it was just a good moment. Like, that was cool, bro. That was the first time I ever doubled up with somebody in the same blind, and we both got one. So you hear people all the time, oh, we both doubled up. We both got one today. It's like we both got one that evening in the same blind together. So it's pretty cool. That was a cool moment.
Yeah, that's dope. That's funny, but right over your head, man. That's a little
Yeah, it's kind of
scary.
dangerous. But he was an ex-Marine. He's actually he was the head of customs here in Newark. Newark, so he's a shooter. He can shoot. He can shoot. But still, you gotta tell me you're gonna do that. I would have got a little lower or something. Like I
Right,
was just barely out of the way. I would have jumped down to the floor. I don't care, just shoot. But tell me you're gonna shoot.
right.
But yeah.
That's funny, man. Yeah, man. So, as an African American hunter, man, there's a lot of stereotypes out there about us, man. So basically, the reason I started this brand, I was at a Total Archery Challenge in Belvedere, Tennessee, and went down on a Friday, shot with my best friend on a Saturday on the Sitka course, and I ended up twisting my knee coming down the mountain, so I couldn't shoot on Sunday. So Sunday, I'm just shooting the practice course. I was like, Holden, you and Teresa go on. I said, I'll be on the practice course, just shooting all day. I said, I'll wait on y'all to get out. So I'm shooting, having a pretty good day. It's a nice day out, plenty of people. Me and my best friend are the only people of color anywhere, probably for a 100-mile radius, it seemed like. But so we're shooting, I'm shooting or whatever, and there's a crowd that's kind of starting to get around me a little bit. They're getting closer and closer, and kind of turn around. There's this guy I think he was from Alabama, I'm pretty sure. And he comes up to me, he said, "Hey man, you're a pretty good shot." I said, "Yeah, I'm okay. I feel like, I'm not the greatest, but I'm trying." He said, "Man, I don't mean to be, racist or anything." He said, "But or sound racist." He said, "But I didn't know black people did this kind of thing." And I said, "Yeah, man, we do this too." And that's kind of where the brand came from. So I was sitting there talking to all these guys. It's about 30 people there. And I said, "Seriously, like wherever y'all are from, y'all have never seen anybody, of color, like out in the woods hunting, like at a gas station with camo on or anything?" He's like, "No, not where we're from, these small towns." And I feel like it was like that way growing up for me, because I used to watch Kentucky Afield a lot, growing up here in Kentucky. And I just never seen anybody that looked like me. And I was always asking my dad, like, how come, there's not more of us portrayed in the outdoor world? He said, "Son, they're out there. There's just not any, they're just not portrayed as much as, our, Caucasian friends or whatever." So as an African American hunter, man, like, have you gotten any like flack or anything like from people that look like you or not people that look like you, saying kind of like, this is a white boy sport, you're never gonna make it? Or have you experienced any of those type things?
All of the above, man. I have my own. I've had the opposite people. I mean, all of the above. Uh, Similar to how you started this show. It's kind of why I started my channel. Um, it was first happened on Ultimate Fighter. I was on the Ultimate Fighter. And so I was talking about hunting and stuff there. And a couple of the cameramen were black. I never forget. They're not supposed to talk to us at all. They're not supposed to ever talk to us on set. But they can hear everything we're saying. We got mics on at all times, so they hear what we're talking about. Never forget, came out of the gym, was talking to one of the teammates about hunting. I remember going in the locker room to change, and one of the dudes, this big old Jamaican dude with dreads. I remember calling like, "Hey, score. Hey, yo, what up? What's up?" Like, we know. But I just want to let you know, like, I've been doing this filming thing in the industry for a while. Like, I've done hunting shows and all kinds of stuff. And I hear you talk about hunting all the time. I've never seen any black dudes in the industry. He said, "When you're done with the Ultimate Fighter, I think you should do that. I think that should be your next niche. You should do something like that. You can really take off in that." And, think about it, man. Think about it. Went around the corner. And I was in my head then. I remember it was in my head. I didn't think none of it. And then that was 2013. And then I started the channel in 2018, 2019, whatever. But I remember I went down to the Great American. Well, it was actually before the Great American Outdoor Show, but when somebody said something. But at the Great American Outdoor Show, when I really thought about putting it all on camera. But I can't remember where I was. I was somewhere, and I said something about hunting. Well, one of my teammates, I said, "Well, at the gym." My team was like, "Oh, big country edge, but y'all don't." First of all, I know you country, but y'all don't hunt. What you mean, y'all? That's all I do is hunt. Like that's me. Like I hunt. That's
Right.
probably another buddy of mine that used to start like a cookbook or something. You always talking about how you cook your game meat up. You start a cookbook like cooking with overtime or cooking with it used to be Beats 25-8, Beats and 25-8 cooking or something. He was a film guy. And then I went to the Great American Outdoor Show. And then this guy from PSE came up and like, oh, I see you shooting your bow all the time. And I love the fact that you shoot your bow and we want you to shoot our bow. This is a rep from PSE when I was shooting Matthews. Like, if you could do that, it could really help, like, get into a different diversity, see an athlete. And I know it sound like a black guy, an athlete shooting this and that. And I thought about it and I told my boy, like, yo, I'm about to start filming myself, just put it on YouTube. And when I first started, it wasn't for a hunting show. It was like putting food plots in. I said, like, I've never done this before, but I want you guys to know, like, I'm on human and black people can do this too. Like, you can do it too. Just because you never seen us don't mean we can't do it. And like everything, that's how it ended. Like, just because I've never done it before don't mean we can't do it. I YouTube it just like you can YouTube it, and you can do it too. Then company started reaching out, and this guy Rob Schneider, or not Rob Schneider, can't remember exactly how to pronounce his last name, but he's like one of the guys from Total Arctic Challenge. He reached out to me like, brother, I see you've been posting this stuff, and I would love to get you introduced to these guys. You can possibly get like product from it. Who knows? Build a relationship where you get a partnership. And I started doing all that, and I realized like how it worked. Kind of barter. We give you a bow, we give you this. You advertise. And I realized, like, watching YouTube, most people advertising and hunting. Then I started hunting. I started posting hunts. I was like posting everything on YouTube at the beginning. Then it really became into like outdoors at overtime. So I really got the name. And like, all right, it's gonna be mostly hunting, but I still do food plot work. I still do my dog training. Like everything I've done in the outdoors, from my properties to training my dog, who's a tracking dog. She's UBT1 certified. She can be UBT3 if I did all the tests, but she's spot on. Everything I've done out of everybody be like, who trained your dog? Who did your food plot for you? Oh, who set those standards? Who put that blind up? I do it all myself. And the whole point is, and I always film it all so you know, like even with all the money I got now and the success I've had in the world, I still knock on doors. And I still get I drive by today, drive by a spot, seeing this big old book in somebody's yard, like, oh, I gotta go knock on the door. I pull it up on the mat and start getting nervous. Like, oh, I gotta go. I want to go knock and get that permission because he got plenty of land behind the house, a huge book. But it's like I can just go pay somebody. I got the I can go pay somebody to go to the ranch and kill big bucks. I can pay somebody to come put the food plot in. I can hire a crew to come hang on my stands and do this and all. But I want to do it so you can see, like, no matter what, I'm black, I'm successful, and I can pay for it all. But you can do this. If I can do it with my time, I'm training twice a day. I got a family. I'm doing this, I'm doing it, and I still can make time to get out and scout. Knock on doors, plant my food plot. I build all my own bows. I build my arrows. I went to the bow shop today to have something done with my bow for the first time since the pandemic because I left my bow press back in Indiana. But I do it all here. Everything I do, everything myself. My bow builds, arrow builds, to writing my contracts, to emailing these different partners, meeting up with land people to buy properties and learning. I do it all myself. And the whole point of my channel behind just like outdoors and overtime is more of having color in the outdoors. Like, you guys can do this too. And they don't say it's because, oh, you got all this money, you bought this. Like, nope. I don't want that excuse because I knock on doors, I hunt public land, I do everything myself. I carry the corn out on my shoulder, I put it on my e-bike, I can put it on the side by side. I hybrid it, but I do it myself.
Right.
So nobody has any excuse to say, oh, I can't. Or they don't like that kind. They don't like my kind out in the woods. Well, guess what? They don't like my kind either. But I'm gonna still do it, and they're gonna respect my kind. And now they starting to see more of us. And I get people to comment on one of my. I didn't know there was such thing as chicken season. Ha ha ha! Sound like black people don't have chicken in. Me and my son had a picture of him fishing. Like, oh my god, can't believe. I posted it on Instagram, but it's like, this is not even the fact it bothers me. It don't bother me. But you posted something with at the time was 3-year-old kid in the video.
Right.
Like, if he could read, like, how do you think that made him feel? It was like,
Right.
really, like, it don't matter what color he is, have a heart. That's just the world. But can't let it deter my mission. I'm gonna keep doing it. And I don't know if I ever blow up. I don't care if I ever do blow up. If I don't, oh well. But guess what? Every time somebody finds it, they're like, oh my God, just like you said, you had no clue I was outdoorsman and a hunter. And I always get different fans from fighting that I reach out probably once a week. Oh my God, I had no clue you was big in the hunting. Now I'm even bigger fan. Or a black guy, like, oh my God, I didn't know that I was a fan of fighting. Like, I didn't know you was in hunting. I never really knew anybody that did that. How did you get into it?
Right.
And I tell them, go watch my channel. Like I do this stuff all the time. Like you on my MMA page, go to my hunting page. I got nothing but hunting stuff over there. Like, dang, that's so cool, man. And next thing you know, maybe next year, I finally got my first bow. I'm gonna start getting into it. And this and that. It's just cool to say I have, even if it's a very small impact, a part of somebody's impact to go from something they never seen to possibly fall in love with a new passion.
Right. Yeah, this outdoor industry, it's huge. I mean, it's big. Everybody every day is coming out with a new brand of something. And I told my wife, I said, I'm not doing this to get big. I'm not doing this to make a lot of money. If I even do make any money ever doing this, my purpose and sole purpose is basically to show that people of color are outdoorsmen and women too. And for two, introduce some of these younger kids that might be going down the wrong road. That there's something other than basketball, football, selling drugs or whatever, everything that basically we're taught as kids that this is the only thing you can do. Oh, you gotta be good at football to go somewhere. You gotta be good at basketball. You gotta be good at, baseball. If you don't do that, you're gonna be, selling drugs or in jail. Like there's something out there in this outdoors industry that I feel can keep a lot of these at-risk youth, especially in our community, keep them out of trouble, give them something to do, and eventually, hopefully, they will build a passion for this. And eventually they'll pass that on down to their kids and their kids and their kids. And it'll be a generational thing. Because eventually, I've got a 7, well, he's almost 7. I got a 6-year-old son. He's ate up with the outdoors, and I want him to carry what I've taught him to his son or his daughter and just keep passing it down. So what do you think moving forward that we can get some of these big name brand people in the outdoor industry? Because I feel like there is a big niche in the outdoor community for African American hunters. Like when you see, Yeti, Sitka, Grizzly Coolers, all these Mossy Oak, Real Tree. Usually when you go to their websites, click on the page, you might see one of us, but you might not. So going forward, man, like how do you think that we should approach some of these big name brands to get our message out there?
I mean, it's just like approaching a woman, man. You just gotta do it. Bite down and do it. You get so nervous. You just gotta keep approaching. Like I said, I type my emails. I do. And I know half the time when they open the email and they read all of it before they go to my Instagram, they probably think I'm a white guy. Possibly you say where I come from and how I live my life. You think, and they click on the page and they see it's like if they don't know me as a fighter, they're like, oh wait, this ain't what you expected. Like dude said, Smoking the Bandit, you sound a lot taller on the radio. It's
Yeah.
like, it ain't what they expect. But just gotta keep. I mean, that's another thing. When I write these emails, I get super nervous. I got a white wife, so I always kind of have her proofread them to make sure. It's like, because sometimes I start typing and texting fast or whatever, and I start talking with, like I said, I can get in any neighborhood. I could talk with the slang, what's popping, this and that. Or you got your business. I got a business degree.
Right.
And sometimes I get comfortable and get this email, and I'll say something. She's like, really? Did you really just type this? Like, my bad. I didn't even think about it. I started typing. So I have her proofread it and make sure. But you just got to just bite down, walk up, and introduce yourself or send an email. Just keep doing it. And like I said, that's another thing that hindered me in the beginning was thinking like, oh, I'm black. These guys ain't gonna let me do it. So I'm not gonna email them. Ain't no way. I don't see any black people working in the industry or working for that company. I'm not gonna email them because ain't no way they're gonna let a black guy on. And it's to the point where you just never know. Just start emailing everybody. Before you know, like one of the companies I work with now, one of my not top sponsors, but closest relationship I've been with since the beginning is Moultrie Mobile. Talked to Mark Allen. I remember when I first started talking to him and we talked on the phone, like I didn't really know how to feel. He's from Alabama, I didn't know exactly how he would feel towards me. And that was what 5 years ago, my first partner, and now me and Mark, when we see each other at the show, like, hey, oh, it's great to see you. We just get to chatting and anytime like I mess up, like, hey, it's about that time we re-signed, ain't it? Like, hey, it's time for us to re-sign. Like, I think so, yes, sir. It's just you just gotta show them that we all not the same. I know what they see, what's in the news, and what the media pushes out there on our race, and that's a lot of them, like you said, those guys they never and they small time, they never seen them, so they don't know what to expect. They only expect what the propaganda and what TV and everything shows them every day. So it's our job to present ourselves as better human beings than what they see on TV. Um, one example I use for people, I grew up in an all white neighborhood. So every girl I had was white, and their parents or them had never seen a black guy in the house. I never been around a black guy. So I had one girl I dated, her mom was like hardcore racist. Like the first time I came up to her car, I was like, "Why is this nigga doing here?" I was like, "Oh, bagged up." And this was what, sophomore year in high school. By my senior year in high school, she had started coming around. But the biggest gesture that won her over is they moved to his new house, and she was a single mom, didn't have moving equipment, she didn't have the money, and my dad had a roofing business. So I had me and my cousins and all my friends when she was at work go over there and move everything from that house to the new house for her. She came home, we was unloading everything, and that kind of won her over. Because all she knew was these black dudes in our area was a bunch of hoodlums doing drugs and doing stuff. Then she seen there was a whole group of us driving trucks, and she never asked us for help, and we did it all for free just because I dated her daughter, and we weren't even dating at the time, but to help her out. Like I'm still a kind-hearted person. I'll never forget when I came home from college, my sophomore year, I ran to her at Walmart. And she was, oh my God, hey guy, this is Corey. He's a date Bethany. Oh my God, he's such a good kid. And it's like I've had that effect on a lot of people in the neighborhood who never seen a black person. Then now I go back and I'm like the success story of Rox, Illinois. You know what I mean? I got a sign up in the neighborhood, home of Corey Anderson, a nationally ranked MMA fighter. I don't know, it might say world champ now. I ain't been back in so long. But it's like you can just see from the way they perceive you when they first see you to the way they perceive you, if you give them the chance to get to know you. Even though they might push you away, you just keep, just like your business, they might say no the first time, but you keep coming back around. You see them at a trade show, you go introduce them. Hey, how you doing? Remember this and that? Start talking, like, oh, how'd your season go? Just small talk. Like I went up to archery country, the Spartan Forge block party in Texas. What was it? In July, before San Antonio Total Archery Challenge. And I've been with Lancaster Archery for quite some time now. And they rep was there. He said, hey, Corey. And there was some older guys there. And I see him look at me at first. I walk in, only black guy in the whole place. Place packed with people. And Trey comes out, the rep from Lancaster. Hey, Corey, how you doing? And the same dude was looking at me, it kind of was looking like, how Corey know this guy? Like the head of Lancaster Archery Marketing. How do you know? And also, they started walking over. And we cracking jokes. And we started talking. I'm joking around. And some dude made a gay comment like, hey, you got to say no Diddy. It's like right after the Diddy case, everybody was like, just being like comical and funny and talking hunting. And before you know it, hey man, y'all follow me on social media. Yeah, nice to meet you. I'll see you at the next one. It was, but at first everybody kind of looked at me when I walked in the door, like, who is this guy? By the end, like this whole circle of all these different industries, like B3 Archery, Easton Arrows, Victory, all these different companies, Hoyt, the owner of Hoyt, all of them sitting there. And also, I'm talking in the middle of the group, just chatting with them all, and they come to find out, like, oh, well, we had the wrong thought of this guy. He actually knows hunting. He's actually in the industry. And he's a pretty nice guy, and he's pretty funny. Then on top of that, we go outside, and then Tim Kennedy jumps up on the cooler. He does an announcement. He goes, oh, guys, if you don't know, Corey Anderson is back there. They're like, oh, wait. Now, if Tim Kennedy, who was pretty much Captain America, filed just for Corey Anderson, this guy must really be a nice guy. It's just like, when you carry yourself, when you present these guys, they say no, or they're not interested just then, don't write them off. Don't give them attitude. Be respectful. Okay, thank you. Yep. Thank you anyway for your time, and then come back again and do it. And then before you know it, they might reach out later on, like, hey, we got an opening. Or what do you think? We can do like a partnership doing product now. We can build a relationship. I mean, most of my partnerships start product. Even with the name I have, I still try to do product for a while just to build that relationship. Right. That trust. Like I'm not just gonna keep asking for stuff. I don't ask for stuff from my partners now. Like
Right.
I had my trainer, one of my gear sponsors fighting call me the other day or messaging me like, yo, you got over thousands of dollars of products saved up. Buy something. Like I don't just ask for it if I don't need it. I ain't one of those kinds that act like I'm always want something. I'm only gonna
Right.
ask you if I need it, bro. And that's just
Right.
you got to carry yourself in a way that these guys will respect you. They already
Right.
got a I don't want to say a bad taste in their mouth, but from what they see in the media and what they see
Mm-hmm.
of people of color that they see often rappers and all these dudes doing this other smoking and drugs and rapping and all this. They're not used to see a presentable black guy that want to be in the outdoor industry like
Mm-hmm.
them. I'm not trying to be Caucasian like you. I just want to be in the same industry. It's enough
Right.
room in here for everybody. It's a piece of pie for everybody to get. But you got
Right.
to make them want to invite you to the table. If you're going with the wrong attitude, they're gonna push you away and they're just gonna put another mark on the black name. You go in there
Right.
and presenting yourself wrong, acting hoodish with the pants down, talking different ways and being vulgar. There's no way they're gonna ever invite you
No,
over.
you got to be
But the best thing we
respectful.
do is just present yourself the way your mother will want you to present yourself at church.
Right. Yeah. It's you got to be respectful, man. That's how I was taught, And I grew up in a predominantly, white county, and um, I was the only black guy pretty much on all my sports teams growing up and everything. So once I got to college, man, it was kind of a culture shock because I had never seen that many black people, gathered in one place, and they didn't know me from Adam, but they accepted me. And like even my friends from college now, we know we're still super tight. And like that's where I found myself was in college, and it was just being around like-minded people, people that look like me, who I could talk to, that shared like the same experiences that I had, the same fears that I had, and stuff like that. But I can remember a time, man, like I was dating this white girl from Tennessee, and she was wanting to take me home to introduce me to her parents, and I had talked to her parents on the phone, and my name is James Courtney Williamson, and I feel like a very Southern accent. I got a twang, and I didn't realize that till I got older. But they talked to me on the phone, was like, "Hey, can't wait to meet you," and everything like that. So we drive down there, her car. I've got my bow in the trunk, got my cowboy boots on, nice little pearl snap shirt, you know, cowboy hat. I'm dressed to the T to meet her parents. And her dad, was on the porch, and I got out of the truck. His whole demeanor changed. And so I walk up to him and say, "How you doing, sir? My name's Courtney. How you doing?" And he was just like, kind of looked at me for like, it seemed like an eternity. And he said, "You're not at all what I was expecting." I said, "Yeah, you didn't know I was black, did you?" And he said, "No." He said, "I'm not going to hold that against you, though." He said, "You're respectful." He said, "You shook my hand. You looked me in the eye." And he said, "Why are you dressed like that, though?" And I said, "This is how I dress." It's like I wear boots. I wear cowboy hats. That's that's what I like. I said, "I grew up in a very, very small town in Kentucky." He said, "Where'd you grow up?" And I told him. He said, "Man, I grew up in Eastern Kentucky." And, we just kind of hit it off there, but he was still kind of skeptical about me. So after dinner, he's out back shooting his bow. And, I just kind of walked out there. "That's what kind of bow you shooting?" He had an old, like a Bowtech Old Glory, I think at the time. And I think I had I think it was a Bowtech Carbon Night at the time. And he said, "Do you shoot?" I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "I've actually got my bow in the car." And he kind of looked. He said, "You shoot too?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Don't tell me you hunt." I said, "Yes, sir." So I've been hunting since I was 5 years old. And we got out there and shot together. And to this day, I mean, I could pick up the phone right now and call that man and, talk about whatever. But it was that I feel like it's the fear of the unknown. Like, which when you get so comfortable in a spot and you're around certain people for so long, and then an unknown entity presents itself, especially one that's dating his daughter, just doesn't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? That's
Oh,
why, like,
100%.
that's why I have so much like respect for the 24/7 Hunt Boys. Shout out to them because they were some of the first black faces that I seen on YouTube, and it drew me in because for one, the music, our culture, swagged out with the camo, with that duck. I mean, that duck is just, it's universal. You see that duck, you know what it is. And those guys are just super cool, down to earth. And I'm like, I'm a big Mossy Oak Bottomland guy. And I've got some Sika back here, as you can see, because of those 24/7 Hunt guys. Like, man, what kind of stuff are they wearing? And then I got to researching. There was Sika, there was Yeti, there was some of the big names. And like you said, man, it might take a long time. It might not ever happen. But, some of those big names, they're going to have to reach out to us, or we're going to have to reach out to them, because I feel like we're bridging some of those gaps. Jim Caesar down in Louisiana, Ricky Nichols down there in Louisiana, Renard Moody, Daryl Moore, all those guys. I just feel like as a youth, as a kid, like I was, didn't see anybody that looked like us on TV. Now, today, with social media and YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, that little kid that might see one of us on TV and be like, I want to do that, and that's the goal for me. Just one little kid that finds one of my videos, or finds one of your videos, or Renard's videos, or Jim Caesar's videos, and sees us, and just, hey, I want to do that, or I want to try that. That's the goal, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when I tell my story, like how I got from where I was, a little lady kid, to success I had. I think I used to do motivational speaking. I said all the time, I don't care. A lot of people don't even in here, not even listening to me. But if one person, if my story touched one person, I did my job today. And the
That's
same thing
right.
with this thing. If I don't, billions of people, trillions of people out there in the world, if one person each day, or one person period, say their life was changed off me, like I did my job on earth. I did
Right.
my job. I did exactly what I said I should. Let other people know you can do this. That's it. I mean, and it's funny like you said about you went to your girl's house in Tennessee, and the dad approached you and all that. And I started thinking, like, I was smiling a little bit. I got two similar stories. And one was I never had met the family before, and the other was I actually grew up with the family. And then when they found out me and the daughter was dating later in college, it was like you said, the dad. And to this
Mm-hmm.
day, actually, when I go to Kentucky, it's who I stay with. We hunt together. We grew up fishing all. But when they found out we was dating, it was just like that unknown. Like
Whole
he'd
different
known me since I
story.
was knee high to a grasshopper. Him and my dad was business partners since I could
Right.
remember. And then when she came home, and I came home with her once, like, "Hey, Corey, what you doing up here?" And she told, "Oh, we're dating." His whole face just like
Mm-hmm.
he's known me since I was in diapers. But now as a 22-year-old, when you see it, oh boy, it was just so he never expected that to happen. Like what?
Right.
And it was that whole other relationship. It didn't last long. It wasn't because of that, but you can just
Yeah.
always tell our relationship was never quite the same as it was when I was
Mm-hmm.
Corey, his business partner's son, as it was I'm Corey dating his daughter. Like to this day, like I go to Kentucky and call him and go stay at his house in the guest house, and we get up and we talk all day long. Like we was over there, the daughter was there, what, like a year ago or so, we was all there. And it was like cool. And I just thought I looked at her and looked at him, just thought about it. Like last time we was all in the same area, like it was never this cordial. It was kind of like he was ready
Yeah.
to shoot your finger on the trigger at all times.
Right.
He didn't
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
then the other time was my wife now when I met her grandmother. She was an older lady back in the segregation days. And
Mm-hmm.
when I came on the porch, and I never, everybody was super cool. Everybody else was younger and understood, but she was older. She didn't say nothing, but you could tell she was kind of
Mm-hmm.
standoffish.
Standoffish. Yeah.
Yeah, but before she passed, me and Grandma was like this. Like I would go home to visit, and I would drive up and sit with Grandma for a few hours and help her with stuff around the house. You need anything, Grandma? You know, when she passed, it was sad to see her go because me and Grandma was close. Christmas and Thanksgiving, she was sitting with me, we'd be talking, and it was cool. But just remembering like the first moment when we met, my wife's uncle ended up calling her that night and apologizing for his mom because he could tell like the way she was being at dinner. But over time, like I said, I just kept bringing myself around. I would call my wife when I was in town and she was here. Like, yo, what's your grandma's address? All right, can you call and tell them to come up and visit? I'll go up and visit. You need anything, grandma? Need anything out of the garage? Help her with stuff, move stuff in the basement, and just won her over. She saw one, how I treated her granddaughter, and two, was like, oh, that was a really nice boy. And
Right.
before you
Yeah.
know it, grandma was like my grandma.
Yeah.
Love grandma. So
Yeah. I get it. I got a few stories like that too. I think we all do.
yeah.
But yeah, man. I'm like I said, I'm thrilled to death that you was able to come on this podcast, man. I think a lot of people are gonna really enjoy this one. Like I said, man, I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan of yours for a long time, and once I figured out you were a hunter, man, it just took it to the top for me, man. But how can people get a hold of you and reach you?
So I mean, I got several social medias. So if you were looking for the hunting stuff, outdoors at overtime, it's just that outdoors with overtime on Instagram or TikTok. If you're looking for the fighting stuff, when you get into fighting wise, that's Corey A _MMA COREY, the letter A _MMA. That's Instagram, Twitter. I believe the same thing on Facebook, on my Facebook page. You can find me on Corey Anderson on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, I ain't hard to find. So I put everything out there. I post content. I do all of my posts myself. Everything I do is all me. Again, I finally just hired an editor to do my editing work just 'cause I got too busy. But other than that, I was a one-man band to do it all, self-film and everything.
That's what's up, man. Well, once again, I want to say thank you, man, for coming on the show with me, man. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's a blessing for you to be on here, man. I can't thank you enough, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
That's
And like
right,
we said
man.
before, let's get in Kentucky. When we get to Kentucky one of these times, we get a hunt or something. At least get together and shoot our bows or something.
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll get together and do something. So, but yeah, guys, that's a wrap for this episode with Corey Overtime Anderson. I hope y'all enjoyed this. You can follow him on all Instagram, Facebook, everything that he just mentioned there. He does all his own stuff. He's always posting stuff on his stories and stuff like that. He's a very interesting guy. But if you want to follow him, go find him. Big game,
One last
small
thing.
game. Oh, go ahead, man.
Forgot to say to YouTube. Make sure you head over to YouTube and subscribe. This season gonna be a big one. I think I got some big deers gonna hit the ground and a lot of animals. So YouTube is also outdoors at overtime. I've got to plug myself.
Go ahead, man. That's what's up. Yes, sir. Big game, small game, all game. We do this too. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.